Comments like this are something that have actually been around for quite a while in different iterations, and I think they both kind of speak to the fact that if you keep it invisible, then nobody has to deal with it or think about it or understand it. People think if you could just put out there that everything is straight, all relationships are straight, all sexual contact is straight, then people won't think about same-sex sexual relations or any type of relations. And where that kind of falls apart is just the fact that a lot of this, especially that came out in the 80s or before, can tell you they grew up totally surrounded by nothing but movies, TV shows where the people were all entirely straight, all the relationships were straight, and even the first time they ever looked at any pictures of people undressed, it was probably women and or maybe they threw in a man again for a straight relationships. However, the fact that you like men or that you like the same sex and are attracted to them have nothing to do with what you're seeing other people do. It's only for yourself. And in my case too, I know that my mother tried to make it as abnormal as possible as far as homosexuality went. And I think she kind of suspected that I was. And so she kind of tried to do the cosmetics as far as, getting me involved in things that were what you would be considered straight. Kind of like a lot of things that especially religious people do is you kind of go through the motions and just hope hearts and minds will follow. The new thing is the gay community is going to groom your kids or confuse their identities. And again, people with gender identity issues as well, they didn't learn it from someplace or see it on TV. That's been around forever, and a lot of people just struggle through it by themselves, which if you give them visibility, at least it gives them resources. But what I was going to go back to is I remember in the 80s and 90s, it wasn't grooming children as the terminology as much as they would talk about recruiting. It almost sounded like, we were going around with clipboards and handing out pamphlets and checking off names. And I think that speaks to, too, that they don't like us to be visible. And I don't know if half the time they're really even concerned about their kids being influenced as much as themselves having to deal with it. I was still closeted and still in denial. Definitely, I didn't want to be confronted with it or have to deal with it because, it was something, of course, I thought about, but I wanted to do it when I wanted to think about it or contemplate it. And I think that's why people who are uncomfortable with it don't like seeing it on any type of media at all.